That was dead set the worst game I've ever seen.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. Dan, before we get into the inappropriate t-shirt wrap-up, I would just like to acknowledge one of the original Immortals passing. Very sad day for Rugby League when that story broke.
Absolutely it was. Everyone was shattered.
Yeah.
Hadley broke it earlier today, was in tears.
Yeah.
Obviously best mates for 30 plus years. You can just see how much it brought the rugby league community together. I mean, we all love giving each other grief over football sides, and that made that long continue. It's part of the best thing about it.
Yeah.
But when a true legend of the sport passes, it was good to see.
Yeah, and look, we'll talk about it later, but Manly really stepped up today.
They certainly did. If they weren't gonna win that game earlier, they certainly were then. Absolutely.
But let's talk about let's get into the rugby league, because it was a mixed weekend of rugby league for me. But let's talk about the referees, and two of the referees that you and I want to signal out. Grant Atkins from the Independent Panthers game. I thought he was sensational.
Absolutely. Everything about the refs this year has been negative, especially the last couple of weeks since the crackdown. It's important that you do take the time when someone has a good game to point it out, because I don't see that enough.
No, and there was not a high shot in that game that warranted at least a sin bin or a send-off. But there were a few high shots.
Yeah, there were.
And as he didn't react to the new rule change, he literally just gave a penalty and said, not worthy of a sin bin.
Yeah, exactly. I think you got everything right.
Yeah.
One of the very few times where every single decision went the right way. Ultimately, the game wasn't close, so you're not watching as with much interest. But yeah, I made it ran, and you weren't nervous.
No, but that's the thing as well. Like, if there is a high shot these days, you hear the crowd going off, but Atkins didn't respond. And when the captains were going, well, what's the result of that? He was just like, look, you got him on the chin, but it wasn't swinging, it wasn't forceful, there was no intent. Don't need to sin bin or send him off. Fantastic.
Earlier in the week, we saw a couple, and last night especially, we saw a couple that were borderline, that could have been overlooked, that were done. Look, the Sensation Brigade obviously jump on every little decision.
Yeah.
The NRL this, Peter V'landys that. When the players don't attack other players' heads, there's no sin bins.
Yeah.
We've seen that now. It's there to be seen.
Yeah, and I think Adam G refereed the Parramatta Manly game. I thought he had a great game as well.
Very well.
Now, there's a referee that I don't like giving a lot of praise to, because he really winds me up with the way he referees. But Ben Cummins on Friday night, likewise, got all the big decisions correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know people are turning around and saying Will Chambers was falling into that Paul Vaughan shot. It was a terrible technique from Paul Vaughan.
It was.
He swung the arm.
Forceful to the head, which is the literal definition of the rule.
Yeah. I mean, the Mawini Hiroti one bounced off the shoulder, hit him in the face. But again, it was forceful. Hiroti probably didn't need to tackle him like that. Could have just grabbed him around the waist and
he
stopped
should have,
him.
or if he pulled him down, and we were right in line with that as it happened. And we knew.
Yeah. I want to give credit to Josh Dugan as well, because he knew he was gone. And I think the fact that he stood there like the naughty kid in the classroom stopped him from getting sent off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if he had walked back into the Cronulla line as if to say, I didn't do anything wrong, he was gone. He was absolutely gone.
It definitely made for good viewing too.
Dan, are we just... are we ready to cancel the season?
We're wasting time as far as I'm concerned. We've known for a couple of weeks now, but Penrith are champions.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing who's going to lose from a grand final day.
Do you think they're going to lose a game? Oh, I'm really, really devastated that State of Origin's mid-season this year, because they could genuinely go undefeated.
It's really bad. Look, I think ultimately, yes, I think they will drop a game Origin affected to a team that's probably... Well, everyone's worse than them, but considerably worse. That fluke's an easy win. Going back to 2016, as I love to do, we went through Origin with 5 players out, pretty much unscathed, and that sort of set us up. Unfortunately, we had a fall away at the end. I don't see Penrith falling away at the end, but even if they lose all 3 Origin-affected games, they're still going to win the minor premiership by a mile.
Can we talk about Matt Burton?
Yes, we
and
can.
How good he has been at centre, because... he's probably the form centre of the competition at the moment.
If he's a Queenslander, he's the first centre picked.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be close to being in the New South Wales squad.
Do you look at him, honestly? Because I think that...
defensively, he's sound, he's quick, he's strong.
Well, I think Jack Whiten is...
on thin ice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Clint Gutherson, for his amazingness, is a great fullback. Don't rate him at centre.
No.
Stephen Crichton was the one who I had next in line. He's not even the best centre at Penrith right now.
No, he's not. Stephen Crichton had a really good game for Penrith this weekend, but that was at fullback.
He certainly did, and he hasn't been bad, don't get me wrong, but Matt Burton's been a step above.
Yeah, Matt Burton has been absolutely incredible. We're speaking of Origin. There's a couple of players that have ruled themselves out by the looks of things.
Yeah, well, Victor Radley's gone.
Oh, yeah, Victor Radley is gone.
He may miss the whole series. He's facing sick for 5 to 6 weeks.
Jesus.
And
he's got to fight that.
He does, but look, I've got to say, Terry, the first one, definitely a sin bin. Comes out with red mist in his eyes. Second one, definitely a sin bin. There was a third one that if that had not been his third one, I think he's sitting down again.
His second shot on TPJ, I just thought it was a great hit. And I tweeted out, I go, you can't sin bin him for that. And then they slowed it down and he literally shouldered him to the face. I was like, he's probably lucky he didn't get set off.
Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah.
Look, the first one, the one where he jumped into him, on the first instinct, I thought that's a horrible decision.
On the kick?
Yeah, where he's jumped. With the first shot, though, as you mentioned with the second, when you saw it from another angle, it was clear shoulder to the head.
Yeah, that's what we're stamping out. So, and let's talk about something now. Post-game, you see a lot of players hugging and smiling and carrying on. But in the sheds, we saw Jack Bird visibly upset losing to the Sharks. And that's probably a game that means a lot to him. It's his junior club against the arch rivals, a team that he's won a premiership with, and he was visibly distressed post-game. And a lot of people have not really attacked him, but made what you can see as negative comments about it. What were your thoughts on Birdie?
We'll put it this way: if we lost on the weekend on Friday night, and Josh Dugan's laughing it up in the crowd after, are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't like watching Bird upset because it's hard to see a player that we make a lot of jokes at his expense, and he's a Cronulla legend. He's a Cronulla legend, and he won that grand final with
broken arm. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. So I love the bloke. It wasn't fun watching it, but that's the kind of emotion that you want to see from players because it shows how much it meant to him. And I'm not going to have a go at him for having being upset after a game that he lost.
And I definitely think that if the Dragons had lost that game to the Knights, it's probably a game, in the sheds you probably just see him with his hand in his head. But that was a team, Cronulla, that gave him his first shot. He won a premiership with. Yes, he left, maybe not on the best terms. But everyone, you speak about Jack Bird, every Shark fan still holds him in high esteem. Would I take him back? No, absolutely not. But I love Jack Bird, and that was tough to watch. And it's just great to see that's how much that this game means to him.
Nat, big fan of the show, said earlier on Twitter that how many times have people come home and had a cry after work? That's his job.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's no different just because you're a bloke and you're on TV.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like seeing players upset like that. It's hard to see, but it's also good to see because he's human and he cares, which is a lot more than you can say for these guys throwing up the doubles after 50-point losses.
Tell us your thoughts about Jack Bird. Best comment, we'll send out some prize packs, but let us know what you think about Jack Bird being visibly upset after the game.
What's annoying Terry?
Damn, I shaved because we said that if the Sharks won, we were going to shave, and here you are. I look like a child.
It's my lucky beard, Terry.
But we won, Daniel.
Barely. Terry.
Talk to me, Daniel.
Zero tackle talking point time. Very serious this week.
It is.
Crusher tackle.
Yeah, that was nearly what's annoying Terry.
What constitutes a crusher tackle is what's annoying Daniel.
Yeah, I don't understand how Teague Wilton is missing a game for Paul Vaughan running backwards. That's not a crusher tackle.
No.
What was Teague meant to do?
Any pressure at all is now a crusher tackle. What we're starting to see, and we saw it in the Parramatta game, is anyone who grabs their neck, it's penalty. They don't even look at it anymore. When it hasn't been bad enough to notice at the time, and they've gone back and sin bin people for it, you start to ask questions. I'm starting to understand why people are frustrated. Yeah,
it's a rule that can just very simply be black and white. Was that an accident? Did the guy run backwards? That's not a penalty. Teague Wilton is a victim of Paul Vaughan running backwards. Yeah, but there are others where you've literally grabbed the guy, wrestled him, and then fallen on his. That's a penalty.
Those are awful, and they need to be stamped out. Yeah. I'm okay with erring on the side of caution, but can you imagine a guy missing a grand final, or in a grand final? I am willing to have a headache for a couple of days, so I'm either going to launch myself at someone's chest, or I'm going to back in and hope that I get a crush tackle. I know that's silly to say, but what's saying that won't happen?
But, I mean, 12-10 in the game, and, I mean, they probably did us a favour because, knowing Cronulla, they probably would have scored a try. But that gave them a penalty right in front for something that Teague did not intentionally do, illegally do, or forcefully do.
Absolutely. Very frustrating. Let us know, guys. We want to know what your thoughts are. Are we way off the mark, or are we, as always, 100% correct?
Dan, let's talk some Sharks.
Mate, on the back of the greatest victory of all time in what was largely regarded as the best game of all time, we're here to talk about the victorious Cronulla Sutherland Sharks.
We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unpack.
Wasted a lot of time there.
We did, yeah. Let's talk about the Fitzgibbon press conference. He's finally spoken. We've finally heard from the great man.
Sir Fitzgibbon. Mate, any of the fans out there who weren't sure and weren't sold on Fitzgibbon are sold now.
Yeah.
It was an amazing 13 minutes, just quietly, on the Danny Widler.
Yeah.
Wasn't it just genius?
Mate, he's so well spoken. I actually only watched the press conference about 5 minutes ago.
Fresh in your mind?
Yeah.
Do you feel better about the future?
Look, I did the moment we signed him anyway, because you can't be that highly regarded as a coach and not feel good about it, right? But after hearing that and what he likes about the club, and I think one of the most important things that he said was players will be released towards the end of the year, so we don't need to just go and rush. We could easily go out and rush an Anthony Milford or an Ashley Taylor.
Yeah, spend $1 million and then what?
Yeah, I think he's putting the onus back on the players to play for a contract and play for their future at the Sharks, and he sees a lot of good in the guys that have been around for a few years. So I was seriously impressed.
He kept repeating that. I like what I've got. I'm in no rush to go out. Now, we all know that we need to sign some players to balance this squad, and I think he knows that too.
Yeah.
But for him to say, I'm confident with what we've got, I am also very confident that he's going to get more out of the current squad than they are performing at the moment.
I think the big part was they kept asking about Adam Reynolds, and he was like, obviously I would have liked to have signed Adam Reynolds, but it's not the first player. Well, it is the first player you missed out on. It's not going to be the last. There's going to be lots of players we're going to miss out on.
Nature of the beast.
In the next 1 to 10 years.
As we said earlier, it's not the end of the world. You shift focus, and what we've seen from Trindle over the last few weeks has made. Like we've been saying for years, he could be the future.
Yeah, you just
Fitz knows.
Yeah, and I you look at Fitzgibbon now. He's one of the greatest forwards that played in the NRL era.
Absolutely.
Just go and build a big forward pack.
That's it. Knows his football.
Yeah. Let's talk about our halfback though. He put up probably the worst 83
our
minutes.
Our match-winning halfback. It seems like people have forgotten the first 83 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he was dreadful. He's dropped balls. Hey, look, I'll say this in fairness. One of the things that has let him down the last few weeks has been his defence. His defence was switched on, but the Dragons didn't really throw that much at him. My God, he's kicking game.
Wasn't good.
No. This is why my voice is husky. I kept yelling to Chad to let him know that the fullback was there.
Exactly. Poor Cody Ramsey was being attacked.
He was. I mean, even their wingers. And the other part about it is, in the second half, Chad went blindside. Corey Norman had been sitting there for 3 tackles. He knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming. It was very telegraphed.
Look, thanks for kicking the field goal. I appreciate it. It's the least you could do because you did very little.
I saw comments that said we won because of Chad. We won in spite of Chad.
Yeah, if it was anyone else, if Sean Johnson's playing that game, we win by 30.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, no, he was appalling.
Appalling.
The interchange use. 2 weeks in a row, we've had one player play 0 minutes.
Josh, we know you're watching.
Yeah, what are you doing?
4 interchange players. Why are you using 3? And you only used Trindle for like 18 minutes.
But I mean, you can see the middle forwards were absolutely gassed. I mean, he's hopeless. But Billy Magoulias could have gone on for 5 minutes and made the same tackle. And what's more beneficial for our team? Toby Rudolph flinging an arm out, could have copped someone high and sitting in the sin bin, or a bloke out there for 5 minutes who's fresh to make those tackles while Toby goes and opens the air in his lungs and gets his third win. It's disgraceful.
Makes a lot of sense.
But this week he plays Teague Wilton, and Teague's absolutely burying through the line.
Yeah. And last week didn't even see that. Oh, mate. Very frustrating.
What isn't frustrating though is we're going to get some troops back. That picture on Instagram. That picture on Instagram, Sean Johnson, Talakai, Ronaldo Fafita, Jesse Ramian, it said the troops are returning. Yeah, Katoa, and they were all just hands up, we're coming back. If we get all them back against the Titans, it's going to be a cracker.
It will be a cracker. We've been conceding a lot of tries out wide because our wings have been out of position.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We're not going to beat Melbourne.
No, but the thing is, one of the players that I'm going to feel really sorry for when all these troops come back is Connor Tracy.
I think he plays centre. I think he's our best option at centre right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dugan's going to get the week off and
suspended, and
Tracy's going to be. But I mean,
I'm picking Connor and someone else.
Connor and Ramian, but then what? We've just signed Will Chambers. Have we signed Will Chambers to see out the season, or have we signed Will Chambers to be a presence? Who knows? Tell us what you think, Sharks fans.
As if you want more in-depth Shark discussion, you can catch us on Fins Up.
Make sure you catch us on Fins Up. Dan, let's talk some footy. Let's talk some tips and reviews brought to you by Top Sport. If you're following us, all the try scorers, all the tips.
Oh, they hate us. Mate, the bookies hate us.
My betting account at Top Sport is just about to pay my kids' college tuition. They're only 6 years old. Imagine what I'm going to do
this weekend.
Well, let's talk about this weekend.
Some easy games, although we said that last week too.
Broncos versus the Storm on Thursday night. Yeah, look, a couple of years ago, this would have been an absolutely cracking game. I see nothing but Storm 13 plus. And here's the reason why, Dan. All their players are out, and these new players are stepping up.
Yeah, well, they beat a fairly handy team in Canberra this weekend. And
down 10-0. A lot of teams in Canberra down 10-0 capitulate.
Yeah.
Not the Storm.
Not this Melbourne Storm. And minus every player under the sun.
Yeah, and I mean, their entire starting spine was missing.
Yeah,
and you know what? Brandon Smith goes and gets man of the match. Or Nico Hines goes and picks up your 2 Dally M points. And 28-10 up, they're playing the game like it's 0-all.
Yeah.
Or they're playing the game like they're trying to avoid golden point. They're incredible.
Who's scoring tries? Everyone?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Storm 13 plus. Again, it's just one of the easiest things you can do.
Josh Adokar is having a dry spell
of
one game, so expect him to go ballistic.
I'm expecting him a double, but I'm also going to pick Justin Olam to score a try.
Been very, very, very
He's
quiet.
Been quiet, yeah. It's a breakout game for Justin Olam as well. And the Broncos can't tackle.
No, they can't. This is going to be frightening.
Yeah, speaking of frightening, Dan, 6 o'clock. I'm glad I'm going to miss this game. Cowboys vs Warriors. It doesn't really interest me. 2 teams that don't play a nice brand of footy for mine.
A couple of good fullbacks.
Yeah,
young players. Reece Walsh looks like a superstar of the future.
Yeah, look,
handsome gent too.
Yeah, look. I mean, this. Valentine Holmes has found some spark as well. Scotty Drinkwater. Todd Payton's given up the Jason Tomolo can only play 30 minutes. I'm going to pick the Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Cowboys 1 to 12.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Cowboys 1 to 12. But both fullbacks, whoever they are, whether it's Tuivasa-Sheck or Reece Walsh and Valentine Holmes to score a try.
Can't argue with that. Took the words right out of my mouth.
No, you can't, because this is what we do.
Friday night, though.
Friday
night's a good night for football.
I'm glad I'm going to miss this game. Tigers versus Dragons, what were they thinking?
They thought Cronulla and the Dragons were bad.
Yeah.
Oh my! It'll be the game of the season now.
Yeah, look, I don't want to pick the Tigers, so I'm not going to.
Draw? Are we going to see the first draw of the season?
Void?
0 all.
Yeah.
Unders. Go the unders.
Yeah, go the unders on this.
St George may not have a team. They were down to the bare minimum. They're going to lose 4 players next week. And the New South Wales Cup team got absolutely spanked by the Jets too, which was also nice.
And that's because a lot of their players were up in first grade. Now they're going to get more. And their Jersey flag team was pretty ordinary as well. I mean, I know they beat Cronulla, but...
On all seriousness, I think the Tigers are going to win this game.
Yeah, I didn't want to tip it, but I'm going to. Probably Tigers 1 to 12.
Look what you made us do, Dragons.
Yeah, Tigers 1 to 12, Norfoluma. He's going to get a double.
Done.
3 o'clock on Saturday, this game will be frightening.
$21. The doggies are $21. The largest outsider I've ever seen.
Yeah, Penrith are $1.
And you can't put more than $1 on them because it goes, nah, not doing it. If I had 10 mil, Panthers.
I really feel for the Dogs and what's going to happen to them because it's not just the fact that they're going to lose the game, and we know they're going to lose the game going into it. It's going to be demoralising.
It is.
And I mean, you think South's got 50.
Yeah, and they're a little bit better football team than the Doggies. Look, I'm going to throw it out there. The only way the Bulldogs can win this game is if Penrith get however many sin bins are required to force a forfeit. And I say that with no jokiness at all.
I'm going to ask you a question. Is this a game that Ivan Cleary could look at and go, you know what, Nathan, have a spell?
He could, yes, absolutely. Well, he's
'Cause
going to
then
get
you've
to
got-
Origin and he's going to miss another week.
Because then you've got Luai and Matt Burton.
Matt Burton.
Heaven forbid.
Well, I was going to say earlier, if Cleary gets injured, as I was going to say earlier, if Cleary gets injured, that brings them back. But that means Matt Burton plays halfback.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't bring him back all that much, does it?
doesn't. What do you think the score on this could be? Or if you're being 100% serious, lights on the line, is this a 50-point flogging?
I think this is going to be the second time in the NRL era that we're going to see 70 scored.
Fair call too. Do the Bulldogs cross for a try?
No, I don't even think the Bulldogs are going to... The only time the Bulldogs are going to touch the ball is to kick off. Or to drop out.
Tough but fair.
Yeah.
This is frightening.
I'm going to go the overs. I'm going to go the complete
Even
overs
if
on
it's
at half time.
Yes.
The overs. In terms of Penrith, who's going to score a try, it's probably going to be easy to pick who doesn't. The guys on the bench, that will score. Rabbitohs versus Eels. This is a good game because the Rabbits got spanked and the Eels got spanked.
They both need to win.
Yeah.
And they're both coming into Origin. They're both going to be affected.
I don't think Parramatta need to win as much as the Rabbits, but you have to have a look at the Rabbitohs form guide. Cop 50, beat the Sharks, cop 50.
It's not good.
No. They've copped 50 twice. Does that negate them? Can they now win the premiership, or can they just not win next year now?
They double can't.
Yeah, they just banked
They
it.
can't win New South Wales Cup.
Yeah, fair.
Surely they got to bounce back. Like Cam,
Look, the worst part about seeing the Rabbitohs' attitude and how they could bounce back is after they copped 50, they only had to play a Cronulla side. Now they're coming up against a contender.
yeah, this is the week where
Yeah.
we see if they're real or not.
I'm going to pick the Eels.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go Parramatta too. They were okay today against Manly without, and they were well beaten by a far better
Yeah.
side. I'm not going to write the Rabbits off, but without Cam Murray, Damien Cook is bog average, and without Damien Cook firing, they're no good.
Scary times. I'm going to go the Eels 1-12. And I'm going to pick for try scorers. Alex Johnson's in a bit of a drought. He's going to score a try, but both wingers for the Eels as well.
Yeah, Fergo and
Yeah,
Seaver.
Fergo needs to score a try.
Yeah, he certainly does.
He really does. And then the Roosters versus the Raiders on Saturday night. Pretty good game.
Talking about, again, these are two teams that are coming off floggings that need to win. You expect
The
them-
Raiders need to win. The Raiders need to win.
Early in the year, you tipped them to come second.
I did.
If they're going to make the 8, they need to win this game.
I did tip them to come second. Thank you for keep bringing that up.
Yeah,
Daniel.
every single week.
Yeah, look, they need to win. They're not going to. No, I think the Broncos caught the Roosters by surprise with enthusiasm, and I think this is a week that it was going to happen for the Roosters. Just that, down on troops, exhaustion, but they've got it out of their system now. And one thing that Trent Robinson and Fitz won't allow to happen is too much complacency.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, they'll win.
Sammy Walker bounced back for mine.
Yeah,
he was very, very ordinary. And you're going to get that from young players. So I'm not jumping down.
No.
I'm not jumping him. No pylon. He'll come back and he'll smash him.
He will, and Tedesco will get a double.
Yes.
Sharks versus Titans. Now, this is an intriguing game because we're talking about players coming back. David Fifita comes back for the Titans. 100 players come back for the Sharks.
I said he should have got 3 weeks.
Yeah. I was in Coffs Harbour this week. It is black, white and blue.
Fantastic.
There are all down the main street. There are pictures of Sean Johnson, Wade Graham, probably 2 guys that won't be at the club next year. But they're all up. There's streamers. There's balloons. There's a footy shop there that's selling merch. There's no Titans merch. They're 2 hours away. There is no Titans merch in that town. It's all Sharks.
Good.
Yeah, it's
colour home game.
It's colour me black, white, and blue all up the mainstream. I drove around the grounds as well. There's a section of their grandstand with black, white, and blue chairs, like
Fantastic.
seats in it. Yeah,
Let's get behind Coffs Harbour.
they've really embraced
cool.
this. Now their local team as well as the Coffs Harbour Sharks. So I think those guys get in for free. If they don't, they should. Tell them the League Outlaws sent you. I'm going to pick the Sharks to win this. The troops are coming back. We handled the Titans really well last year. I don't care about Tino and Fifita. We'll just target the biter and we'll win.
I'm all right. What he said, I guess.
Well, you tell us. Tip it.
The Titans are going to... AJ Brimson is just in another world right now.
Oh, mate, please. He had an easy game on the weekend.
Yeah, and he...
Sharks going to absolutely do it. Will Kennedy's going to get a double. He's going to outplay AJ Brimson again like he has all year.
Gotcha.
Knights versus Manly.
Hey, I hope he does.
Knights versus Manly, Dan.
In terms of spankings, this is at the top of the list this week.
Nah.
Manly are so good right now, and it pains me so much to admit that.
I know. Look, it's probably second in the spankings, maybe third because the Storm are playing
there's
the
a lot of
Broncos.
games. Bit of hyperbole, but they're very good, and Newcastle are equally, if not worse.
Yeah, look, the one thing that brings this back in place for Newcastle is it's in Newcastle. If this was at Brookvale, it's a pantsing.
I don't think it matters.
Nah. Yeah, look, it doesn't really matter, but there's going to be 26,000 Novocastrians there screaming at Manly, probably for about 4 minutes until Turbo does a madness.
If I'm the Nana Knights, I'm going to bed early.
Yeah. Manly 13 plus.
30 plus.
Turbo as many as he wants.
Done.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Puncture Media. Trash us in the comments, praise us, say anything you want. We love reading it. As always, Toby.
Rugby League, baby!